Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's day 59 of 60-day reading challenge, and we are going to read this book, Getting Things Done: The Art of Stress-Free Productivity by David Allen. So let's see. Okay, so this video is actually live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. So from wherever you're listening to, thank you so much for tuning in. So let me just check that whether this video is actually shared on my Facebook page. Okay, so yep, it's done. So from wherever you're listening to, thank you so much for tuning in, and without any further ado, let's start today's readings. Today we are going to read from chapter 10 to chapter 12. So these are the three chapters that we will be reading, and let me just see that how many pages that we will be reading today, because there are three chapters, but these chapters are very small, because I think we are going to read from the chapter 10 to chapter 12, so to 27 to 65 pages. Okay, so there are almost 38 pages that we need to read. Not so much, I guess. Let's see. Okay, so the first chapter that we will be reading, that's chapter 10, is like getting projects under control. Yeah, I know I'm looking like an alien here maybe, so please forgive me for that attire, because it's a little bit cold here today, and that's why I'm looking like this. And yeah, there is no specific reason other than that. Okay, So while organizing and deciding the next action for my task, I was facing this issue, and actually this phase answered this issue as well, which says that there are two types of projects, however, that deserve at least some sort of planning activity. That is, one is those that still have your attention even after you have determined their next action. Yes, there are some projects that is still there on my mind, although I have decided the next action for those projects, but it's still somehow it's still on my mind going on. And the other type of projects are like those about which potentially useful ideas and supportive details just show up ad hoc. So these are the two kind of projects that we really need to need to have some planning activities. So yeah. So here we discussed about some typical planning steps that you can use to actually plan out your projects. So yeah, so the first thing is like brainstorming. You can like put each and everything. That's like a capture where you can maybe you can use any brainstorming software as well. So, and another thing is like organizing, when you can organize your stuff, right? Like which one should go where. Then you can there can be one thing like setting up meetings. So in some cases you may need others help to organize this task. Maybe you need your partners help with that to actually set things up. So for that you need to need to set up meetings with others to actually organize your thoughts, organize your tasks. Maybe you need your assistant's help to actually determine that which task actually goes where, right? And then gathering information, like sometimes some project or next task required some thinking, so you need to gather all this information there, right? Like suppose you have a call to make and you don't know that what to say to this call, so you really need to make some thinking on that. So for that you need to gather some information as well. So these are the ways that actually you can, like these are some of the planning steps, nothing else. Okay. And here is a very nice thing I read. It says that the most critical tool for ensuring that nothing gets lost is your collection system, your in-tray, pen and paper or smartphone. You need to hold all your ideas until you later decide what to do with them. So he says that each and every idea that comes to your mind, that needs to be in some in your pen and paper notebook, or or your mobile phone. Doesn't really matter where you put it, right? You just need to capture it at that moment of time, so it can be out of your head and you can later decide what to do with it, right? Great. So he says that we are going to need some tools to actually, when I actually read about tools or getting them, I just get so much excited. But honestly speaking, at the end it doesn't really matter which tools you are using. That's I'm saying from my own experience. If you're good with one tool, stick to it. Make sure that you can reach out to this tool each and every time. So maybe if you're a digital person like me, make sure that you can reach your mobile phone anytime and you can rely on it each and every time, right? So can you do that? If you can do that, or maybe if you're a guy who or girl whose battery dies each and every 2 hours, so you need to charge it. At that point, if some ideas comes, then you can't really rely on your phone, right? Maybe you need to run to the charging point where your phone is actually charging, right? Then it's going to be a problem. So you can't really get access to the mobile phone always, so it's not practical, guys, even though we carry it each and every day with us like our babies, but still it's not possible. So let me just here's a quote I like. Luck affects everything. Let your hook always be cast in the stream where you at least expect it there will be fish. So yeah. So he's saying that luck affects everything, so you need to put your hook where most of the time the fish can be there, right? So luck will come to you automatically, right? He says that if you're a guy or a girl who loves stationery, please have this. He says that I also suggest that you keep nice pens at each of the station where you're likely to want to take notes. So it doesn't really matter where is it, if it is kitchen or if it is a bedroom, if it is your study. So it doesn't really matter where it is. Make sure that you have a pen and paper ready to go with it, and you can write down your ideas without any problem, right? Where you're likely to want to take notes at your desk, in the kitchen, in your briefcases, satchels, purses and backpacks. So backpacks can be a good thing for if you're a student or if you're a working professional, maybe, or maybe if you have suitcase. So you can put your pen and paper and a notepad there, right? So yeah, be sure to keep plenty of fresh markers on hand. Nothing stifles creativity thinking faster than dry and useless writing tools. So he says that you may buy a whiteboard as well. So that's whiteboard actually gives you this open space to actually creative thinking, and it's amazing. I heard about it, but I don't have it personally, so I don't know how it actually works. I haven't done and doing anything in the whiteboard as well. I think I should have to invest one to try out at least in a small whiteboard at least. Let's see what I can do. Let me know if you have already a whiteboard and if it does make any sense to have one. Okay. And he says that you need a system where you can put your bad ideas as well. It's not like that if some ideas come, you really need to put it there, right? So you need to have a system where you can put them, or if you don't, you just create a folder for that idea or specific thing and you just put it there, park it there, right, for later usage. So if you don't have a good system for storing bad ideas, you probably don't have one for filing good ones either. So yeah, obviously you do it when you have decided the next action for this idea, and you just need to create a folder and put it there, like these are the next action that I will be performing, right? Okay. Here is a nice thing about digital technology. My total life is on the digital, and here he says that digital technology will undoubtedly continue to emerge, which will continue vastly to thinking, planning, and decision support in ways that low-tech materials and tools cannot. But until pens, notepads, post-its, physical folders, and printed documents can be replaced by something better, they will still need to play some part in your coordinated personal management system. So until and unless you get a better alternative than your pen and paper and post-it notes and all of this good stationaries, then you need to stick to them as well, right? So it will actually help you explore your creative thinking as well. It's not. So here he says that here he says a very nice thing which actually changes my thinking. That's why I'm actually reading about this pen and paper thingy. Otherwise I wouldn't have. So he says that what if paper was just discovered? Think about it. What if paper that we use, like this is also paper, right? So what if paper was just discovered? You have paper in lying there anywhere, somewhere in your home. Even if people are illiterate, okay, they don't know how to read or write, they might have some paper in their home as well, right? For any source they have, right? Paper is like everywhere. So but think about it. What if paper was just discovered today? Amazing, right? Wow, something that allows you a visual map of your digital information, which you can manipulate and communicate physically and visually. So, and something that can capture, facilitate, and share creative thinking without batteries or electricity. Wow, right? So, if you have like paper is like discovered today, that would have been like a different kind of feeling for we would have for the paper, because without electricity or like batteries, we can write each and everything on that paper. I mean, that's the beauty, right? That's amazing. We actually don't we are not grateful for the things that we most have, right? So but if you just think about it, like if there is a replacement, then you will find that okay, this piece of thing is really important in our life as well. But if it is a small thing, we don't think about it in this way. So even if the money is actually printed on the paper, there won't be any money, like digital currency would have been there, right? So yeah, that's amazing. All right. So make sure you create comfort with here's a nice thing about digital technology. That's the problem I used to suffer, but I still suffer not that much, because there are a lot of tools and technologies keeps coming up. I'm also thinking about making one digital application which will be related to the productivity, but I don't know what. Maybe in some days or future I will do it. But the thing is that there will be a lot of software that will be coming up, and you may be the one who also create it, right? So here's the thing. Make sure you create comfort with the application so you can focus more on your project thinking than on the software. It will also behoove you to do regular reviews and updating of this content wherever it is, and keep it current with consistent purging and reorganizing. Remember that the computer is a bit of a black hole, and as memory and storage capacity continue to expand and new cool application for pieces of this functionality continue to proliferate, it becomes easier to keep everything and then lose a coordinated orientation of your active stuff. So he's simply saying that there will be a lot of softwares each and every day may come up, right? But you need to you need to be good with at least one software, so you don't need, while you are actually capturing ideas, clarifying and organizing things, that moment you don't need to think about the software. Like if you're organizing something somewhere in the software and you just need to think, okay, how the software actually works, then it's going to be a problem, my friend. So you need to really get comfortable with at least one software, then you can explore whatever the hell you want, right? But before then, other than that, if you're not comfortable with any kind of software, do not put there. If you don't use the software yet, just go for one. At least find one that is relevant to you. There are a lot of YouTubers who makes such videos where you can pick. I think watching YouTube videos will make you more confused than clearer. So I think you just pick the one what you feel, what your gut tells you to actually pick. Maybe you think that, okay, that these are the functionalities that I might want, that will be helpful for me. Just read something in the documents, and there will be always pros and cons on each and every software. There is nothing called perfect software, or perfect world, or perfect anything, right? So you just pick one which your gut tells you, okay, go for it, right? Do not go with the trend or anything like that, because this does not work. Okay, so yeah, with that we have completed like 2 parts, and this part is all about like the power of the key principle. So the first part was like about the getting things done, the art of stress-free productivity. There was it, I guess. The art of getting things done, and then practicing stress-free productivity. Part 2 was all about like action steps that you need to take, perform, like what are the things that you need to do. And then comes the power of the key principles. So let's see what is the key principles. So we are going to read 2 chapters from this part 3, and the first chapter is like chapter 11, the power of the capturing habit. So capturing habit, I don't have one capturing habit, honestly speaking, guys. I struggle with the capturing part. At least sometimes I do capture whenever I sit, but every time some thoughts come in, I don't do it exactly at that specific point in time. I just carry it around sometime from on my head. Sometimes I sleep over it, and I just forget. So I think I need to have this capturing habit. I don't know what it's going to tell me, but this name actually attracts my attention. So let's go ahead and read. Here is something I'm going to read from as it is to actually inspire you. Actually, it inspires me as well. So here's the thing. I'm going to read. I'm not going to speak in between anything, right? Okay. When people with whom you interact notice that without fail you receive, process, and organize in an airtight manner the exchanges and agreements they have with you, they begin to trust you in a unique way. More significantly, you incorporate a level of self-confidence in your engagement with your world that money cannot buy. Such is the power of capturing placeholders for anything that is incomplete or unprocessed in your life. It noticeably enhances your mental well-being and improves the quality of your communications and relationships, both personally and professionally. So yeah, that's the power of actually capturing each and every moment, right? Amazing, amazing. So I should be capturing more, I think. Here is a personal thing that I want to share here as well. I have faced this as well, because when I was taking notes actually, so I used to have this kind of negative feelings at that point. There was some guilt that was there, and honestly speaking, I was thinking like, okay, I have a lot of things to do. That's why maybe the problem is this is the problem that is coming in my feeling. That's the feeling I'm actually having. And honestly speaking, I never thought that this book is going to talk about that part, at least. So the thing, he says that it happens because you actually discover that you have broken a lot of commitments that you made with yourself. So that's the reason that this negative feelings actually comes up. Okay, so when you understand the source of your negative feelings about all your stuff, you'll discover, as I did, the way to get rid of them. And if you experienced any positive feelings from collecting your stuff, you actually begin the process of eliminating the negativity yourself. So he says that there is a positive feeling and negative feelings all together when you're doing it. And honestly speaking, I felt the same. There is some positive feeling as well, because I'm taking notes, and I'm actually collecting all the stuff that is there on my head. It is giving me a positive feelings. And but when I was seeing that, okay, there is some commitments that I did not fulfill, so these are the things that were giving me these negative feelings, right? So from that, actually, he says that negative feelings comes in. The sense of anxiety and guilt does not come from having too much to do. It's the automatic result of breaking agreements with yourself. So whenever you break any kind of agreements, maybe you have decided that you will do something, like I have decided to do a podcast with a person, and like I have been procrastinating. Maybe there are some other stuff that comes up, and I'm like kind of forgot, but somewhere there it's on my back of my mind. But when I was writing this, I was like, okay, what the hell, uh, I did not do this podcast. I did not interview that person yet. So these are the kind of negative feelings that comes up, because you have committed something but you did not do it, right? So he says that there are three ways to actually prevent this kind of negative feelings. The first is like, don't make the agreement. So if you're not making the agreement at the first place, so what's there to like lose? And another is like, complete the agreement, and the third is like, just renegotiate. So let's go ahead and understand what is that don't make agreement. So he says that, to if you want to feel lighter, so you need to make lesser agreements, and also, if you have some agreement, you need to break them, and like you can just trash them. uh, you need to be rude at this case. But here he says a very nice thing, which is written very small, in a small way, but I'm just going to read it because it's fun. It has been a popular concept in the self-help world that focusing on your values will simplify your life, right? I contend the opposite. The overwhelming amount of things that people have to do comes from their values. Values are critical elements for meaning and direction and decision making, but don't kid yourself. The more you focus on them, the more things you are likely to feel responsible for taking action on. Your values make it easier for you to make choices, but don't think they will make things any simpler. So he says that values are really good for take as a direction that will help you to pivot to the correct direction. But it's not really something that is concrete that you need to feel responsible for each and everything in your life. So you can break some agreements if you want, right? And also he says a very nice thing, like, maintaining an objective and complete inventory of your work regularly reviewed makes it much easier to say no with integrity. So if you have a correct system, you know that what are the commitments that you already have, what you need to do, what you need to be doing, then you can like say no to some commitments without losing your integrity. So you know that I'm doing something, I am occupied with something else, I can't really do something at that point in time, so you can obviously say no to that, right? And yeah, that is all about like no, not making any, no, don't make the agreements. Then comes the complete the agreement. So let's read, and before I read, I'll be taking a break for a minute. So guys, I'll be back. guys, I'm back again, and let's read how to agreement. Here's a fun thing I want to read. It's all about like completing agreement. It says that we should focus on the 2 minute rule. That is like, if any task that is there in your list while you are actually organizing and this task, if it is something that takes less than 2 minutes to complete, you just need to knock off that from your list. So here's a nice thing. He says that when you capture all the open loops, little and big, and see them on a list in front of you, some part of you will be inspired or creatively disgusted or intimidated enough to go knock them off of the list. So yeah. So it's all about like when you see when that actually happens with me a lot. When I see some of the tasks that's going to take like so much less time, and I was like, okay, what the hell, why this task is there lying on there? I was like, let's just complete this task as soon as possible and just remove it and knock that off from my list. So I have to do this, and yeah, I quite like this. So he says a very nice thing. It says that if you are completing this kind of tasks, so you will be super energized, and this is the actually negative side of this thing as well, because you will be taking up more tasks to complete. So you'll be like super energized, and you will be super productive. You'll say that okay, you're completing task one by one after another, and you will commit for more bigger tasks in your life. And here he says that if your boss, or if you're a part of a board member, and they see that you're so much productive, and yeah, what they will do you, they will give you more tasks to complete, right? And this will go into this vicious loop. You will be stressed out after a specific point in time, because guys, we as a human being have a specific amount of time in our life, and uh, we can use it, we should use it like properly, so that we can get the more out of it, right? So he says that it's the irony of professional development: the better you get, the better you would better get. So if you don't understand that, I'm thinking about writing a tweet about this quote, and see that what are the other people think about this. So this is the handle that you see. These are all the social handles that you might see right now. It's just ImpleBooks on each and every social platform. So wherever you're active, just go ahead and follow ImpleBooks. I highly recommend that you do that, because I'm going to post a lot of contents from 2021, and which is you're going to love a lot. So yeah, without any further ado, he says that if you don't want to get stressed out, you have another option, like renegotiate the agreement. So let's see. So here's the thing. He says that suppose you commit that you will be meeting me on Thursday at 8 p.m. But for some reason you could not meet me. So what are the things that you can do? You can like renegotiate, like say that okay, this at this we are not going to meet Thursday. We are going to meet in a different time. So just give me a moment, guys. I will be back in a minute. I tell you this about this excitement. So yeah. For any reason that I could not meet you on Thursday, but I committed that okay, I will be meeting you on Thursday 4 p.m. But I could not meet for due to some reason. What is the thing that I can do out of integrity? Like I can call you and readjust the time that and tell you that okay, this is the time that we are going to meet, right? But here's the thing. So he says that these are the things that actually keeps going on in our mind, right? And we need to do something about it. So suppose he has given a very nice example. So there is a guy who wants to clean his basement and he every time he goes to his basement, I think about like okay, I should be cleaning this basement, and it's been like 10 years that he is not still cleaning his basement. And when every time he goes through this basement, he had this feeling like okay, I need to be cleaning this. But okay, so he's like thinking about this like for 10 years every day he goes to this basement, he think about it this way. So there is a little boy voice that in his head that keeps going on, right? So here's the thing, he says that you can do three things about this. One is like you can just lower your standard and say that okay, we are not this is just a crappy garage and we are not going to clean it, right? So this way you can like get rid of this commitment, so you're not committing to this, right? So you're going to say okay, this basement is anyway shit, this is a shitty garage, I'm not going to do anything about it, right? So yeah, that's how you just completely diminish that voice, right? And another thing that you can do is like keep the agreement, you just clean the garage. So you just clean it immediately, right? So that's the thing. And second is like third is like put the clean garage on a someday or maybe list. So every time you just go for the weekly review, you see that on the list, and you can just put it to the next week. So you can say that I will be doing it in the next week. So every time you just go to that garage, you will see that okay, this garage needs to be like cleaned on the next week. Who cares now, right? So you're gonna say okay, that's unclean, but next week we are going to do it, right? So you can do these three things about this, right? So yeah. Here's a beautiful thing about agreement, and it's also scary sometimes. The thing is that it seems that there is a part of our consciousness that does not know the difference between an agreement about cleaning the basement and an agreement about buying a company or improving our personal finances. In there, they are all just agreements, capped or broken. If you're holding something only internally, it will be a broken agreement if you're not moving on it in the moment, right? So every time you just make some agreements, these are basically these are like a broken agreement only. It doesn't really matter what it is, if it is bigger or smaller, our mind or our brain can't distinguish about it, right? So even if you are thinking that okay, I will throw this remote out from my home, it is, and I'm just still not doing it, this is also you're breaking your commitment, and this is going to come to your mind at some point in time, right? So every time you're going to see your phone or anyway, that's going to come in, right? So that happens. And here's the thing, every agreement must be made conscious. So that means it must be captured, clarified, and reviewed objectively and regularly in full conscious awareness, so that you can put it where it belongs in your self-management arena. If that does not happen, it will actually take up a lot more of your internal energy than it deserves, right? So you need to be conscious about like which commitments you should take up and which not. So this way it will not take up your mental energy, and you will be sane, and you will be stress free, right? So if you're stress free, you can do your commitments better, right? So yeah, that's the thing. You should listen to this. Use your mind. Use your mind to think about things rather than think of them. You want to be adding value as you think about projects and situations, not creating stress by simply reminding yourself they exist and you need to do something about them. To fully realize that more productive place, you will need to capture it all. It takes focus and change of habit to train yourself to recognize and download even the smallest agreement with yourself as they are created in your mind. Doing the capturing process as fully as you can and then incorporating the behavior of gathering all the new things as they emerge will be more empowering and productive than you can imagine, right? So yeah, use your mind to think about the things, not think of them, right? So that's going to be very helpful. here is a thing that he says. I'm gonna read this as it is. Um, so it says that when the only thing on your mind is the only thing on your mind, you will be present in your zone with no distinction between work and play. So the if you're present, then yeah, it's all about like being in the present moment. So nothing is there except the work that you're doing in your mind. So that's all about like being in the present moment, and you can do it if everything out of your head is like somewhere else you parked there, right? So yeah, use your mind to think. So this is the thing that I read, like use your mind to think about things, right? So yeah, he says that in organization we should have a system of like taking notes for each and every one, right? And it should be acceptable that people have more to do in their life than they should be doing, right? So yeah, and he says that even if you're in a relationship, or maybe we're a parent, or or if you have a girlfriend or your wife, we should be able to keep a task from in each other's in each other's in basket, so we can see that okay, these are the tasks that we should needs to be doing, right? So this that is the thing you can do, right? Obviously, he says that aside from being an act of politeness intended to avoid interrupting the other's work in progress, the practice actually fosters more warmth and freedom between us. So if you're thinking that, okay, that is a cold and mechanical things, like my partner is like writing to-do list for me now. So you'd be like, okay, what the hell it is? I should not be doing it. She's writing notes for me to like do this specific task. What the hell? Right, this is so mechanical, this is so like, are you thinking that I'm a robot or something like that? It's not like that, right, guys. He says a very nice thing here which actually resonates a lot with me. He says that the practice actually fosters more warmth and freedom between us, because mechanical things are being handled in the system instead of tying up our attention on the relationships. So we need to be doing that task anyway, right? So suppose my partner tells me, Ki, you need to get this grocery and these are the things that you need to be doing, right? So instead of going in back and forth with her and what are the timings that I should be doing, if she just gives me this list, and we can just focus on the relationship more, and this is the task that I will be doing only, that's my task that I will be doing, she just assigned it, right? So we should not be like talking about this task with her. We can talk about more fun stuff, or maybe we can decide and talk about much more things other than this mundane task that we really need to be doing, right? So even if sounds mechanical, I highly recommend, and he says that we highly recommend that you do this. So it's very important, right? So yeah, and yeah, unfortunately, you can't legislate personal systems. Everyone must have his or her own way to deal with what he or she has to deal with. You can, however, hold people accountable for outcomes and for tracking and managing everything that comes their way. So you can't really see that, okay, if I assign this task to my partner and you are like, okay, you should be doing this task this way. You can't really do this, right? People have their own way to completing tasks, and you should care about only the outcome, right? Excuse me, guys. So you should be caring about the outcome. That really happens a lot with me in the winter. My voice gets stuck sometimes. Yeah, so you should be you should care about the outcome, and even if someone else or your partner maybe give you this task, he or she should care about the outcome only, right? So yeah, so that's because people have their own way to do the task. So yeah, with that we have completed this this beautiful chapter called the power of capturing habit. So yeah, if you have the power of habits, the capturing habits, so this is the thing, this is going to happen, right? Then comes the power of the next action decision. So next action decision is the only thing this is the thing I really suffer a lot with, because I have tried doing this and this is not a first time I'm doing this, but I still suffer a lot. But I did not read the book in depth this way, right? Like I'm reading right now. I did read up an ebook at that point of time in my laptop by downloading a PDF. So yeah, but now I'm reading the paperback and I quite like this. Yeah. So this topic is like, this chapter is all about like what's the power of the next action actually. So deciding what will be the next action that you should be doing, and that's the reason that we actually don't do a lot of the tasks that we really need to be doing, because we don't know where to get started. And he says that we need a little bit of mental processing or power at that specific moment to decide what we need to do as the next action. So suppose there are some guys like written tires in their list. Okay, so when the author actually asks that what do you need to do with that, he says that okay, I need to be changing the tire. Okay, so what is the next action for you? Like you need to change the tire, right? No, that's not the action. That you need to surf the web to for the tires that you really need for your car, right? So maybe when you are in a meeting and you have like 15 minutes window, at that point of time you can like surf the URL, surf the web about the about the tires that you want to purchase. You don't need so much energy for that as well, right? So but you are not utilizing that time because you haven't decided the next action for that tire. So your mind is just like, you're just mindlessly sitting there waiting for just passing 15 minutes. You're just waiting for that 15 minutes to go over. Maybe you're scrolling your social media, and maybe you're checking your email for no reason, right? So when you could have done something with that list, with the thing that is lying there called tire, right? And he says an example here which I'm going to read as it is, because you're going to get some ideas that how it actually works. It's really fun. So often even the simplest things are stuck because we have not made a final decision yet about the next section. People are in my seminars often have things on their list like get a tune up for the car. Is get a tune up a next action? Not unless you are working out to your car with wrench in hand, dressed to get greasy, right? So what's the next action? I need to take the car to the garage. Oh yeah, I need to find out if the garage can take it, right? I guess I need to call the garage and make the appointment, right? So that could be the next action, right? Now you're like, do you have the number? So damn, no, I don't have the name and number for the garage. Fred recommended that garage to me, and I don't have the information. I knew something that was missing on the equation. And that's often what happens with so many things for so many people. We glance at the project and some part of us thinks, I don't quite have all the pieces between here and there. We know something is missing, but we are not sure what it is. So we quit, right? So what's the next action? I need to get the name and phone number. I guess I could get it from Fred, right? How could I do that? I can email Fred. So the next action really is email Fred for info for the garage, right? Simple. That's your next action. You just need to send an email to the Fred that, okay, hey Fred, send me the number of the garage that you have mentioned, right? So once you get the you can put it in your like waiting for list, and whenever he replies something, you can like go for this and see, okay, so this is the number, and your next action is like calling the garage. So you just put it in your list, like, okay, like call the garage. Then when you make the call to the garage, they may tell you that, okay, this is the time that you can this is the time that you can take your car on our place, and you just schedule it on your calendar or your tickler file or wherever it is, right? Then you can take your car there, right? So this is the way it actually works. This is the kind of but you really need a simple processing power in your mind. You likely need to keep asking questions that what are the next action that you need to be doing, right? And here he says a very nice thing about it is like, he says that it's not a skill. He don't like to call it skills, because we as a human being keep taking next actions, but we do it unconsciously, so every day. So here's the thing I'm going to read. We all already have the ability to make a next action decision. We do it all the time, thousands of times a day, but mostly unconsciously. Yet making that decision before we have to about things we are committed to move on is a powerful and elegant cognitive behavior pattern that can be learned, practiced, and integrated. So he says that we can learn and practice and integrate it with our life. It's like we are asking question in each and every part of our life, that what is the next action that we really need to do. That will actually clarify your mind. It will actually make your mind a lot clear. So suppose you are thinking about taking your partner or a girlfriend or your husband to the dinner, right? So instead of just thinking like, okay, I'll take them for a dinner, so think about the immediate next action that you need to be doing, right? Suppose you can ask like, okay, I need to be check for the reservations, but the thing you need to be first checking is like whether your girlfriend or husband, what is the time, when is the specific time your husband or girlfriend will be free. So if you're like thinking about, okay, going to that restaurant on the Thursday, you really need to know that whether your girlfriend or husband will be actually free on that day or not. So you just ask them whether you are going to be free. So that's the first question. There's the next action that needs to be, that you needs to be doing. Once they answer it, then you can just go for the restaurant or hotel which is open at that specific point in time. Then you can schedule each and everything, right? So this is the power of actually next asking for the next action decision. So let's see what's there. And I'm gonna read some quotes from here. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into small, manageable tasks, and then starting on the first one. So that is the secret, right? So for me, I'm actually procrastinating on like getting the piano. The reason is that I'm not deciding what's the next action is. I've been calling a lot of people, but I want to go for the AMI option. Maybe for the no cost AMI, I'm getting it on online, but I don't want to purchase it from the online. So I'm just contacting each and every like offline distributor for this purpose. And honestly speaking, I'm just procrastinating at that point in time, so I need to be getting it before the new year. So let's see how it goes, and I think this chapter will help me a lot in that regard. So let's see what I can do about it, right? Great. Okay, when a next action, there remains a potentially infinite gap between current reality and what you need to do. Without a next action, there remains a potentially infinite gap between current reality and what you need to do, right? So yeah, I think I quite like this. Yeah, anyway. Here is the thing that I actually feel, so I'm gonna read it as it is. Thinking and deciding require energy, and when you notice something unfinished in your world but have not determined what the next action is, yet you will tend to be reminded of your fatigue and sense of being overwhelmed. Hence, most people's reaction to their own lists and organizers is negative, not because of the content per se, but rather because sufficient appropriate thinking has yet to be applied to them. So everything on your list and in your stacks is either attractive or repulsive to you. There is no neutral ground when it comes to your stuff. So yeah. So as you know that he actually encourages you to take ask for the next action on each and every way it is possible. It doesn't really matter, even if it is a family dinner, and if your family is talking about like, we need to do this, we need to do that, but at the end of this, you always have the practice of asking this, okay, now what's the next action, right? So this will actually clarify the thinking of the organization or the family, like, okay, what if you're speaking about something, it is not vague, it is something that we really want to take action on. So that will clarify all of this thing, right? I suggest that in your next meeting with anyone, you end up the conversation with the question, so what's the next action here? Then notice what happens. So I have written action here because in each and every step, any author tells you to do something, I really write down, I write down this as action, so I can take action on this, because whenever I will skim the book, and next time I can see, okay, these are the action steps that I can do to actually make my lives better, and see, okay, there is some fun stuff that I can do with my life as well, right? So this is really important that you do that. And another thing that I like at the end of this is, he says that it gives you this kind of empowerment, because you can get things done, because when you know exactly that this is the next thing that I will be able to perform, then obviously you're going to do this task, right? Because this is because you have broken down your tasks in a smaller pieces, and this is the task that you can do, and if you can't do, you can delegate it, right? So there are some other techniques that he has mentioned all over the book, right? But it's all about the next action that you really need to be doing, right? And he says this amazing thing, when you start to make things happen, you begin to believe that you can make things happen, and that makes things happen. Right? Amazing, right? So once you do something, you believe that, okay, I can do this thing. Suppose you want to exercise each and every morning, right? But you're just procrastinating. But when you do that, I'm just giving an example here, guys. When you do that, there's, okay, I can do this kind of thing, and okay, I can repeat different kind of things, I can do different kind of things with my life as well, right? Suppose in my case, I am reading book each and every day in the morning. I'm just waking up at 5:30 or 5:20 somewhere, and I'm just setting up each and everything, the camera and everything, the streaming software, and then I'm just going live, right? So because I'm doing it for like it's been 59 days I'm doing it, and today is the 59th day, and tomorrow will be the last day of the 60-day reading challenge. I know that I can do it, so this gives me a feeling of like I can do other things as well. So for that, I have created a goal list, and also I have posted this publicly on my Instagram page. So if you haven't follow ImpleBooks on Instagram, I highly recommend that you go ahead and follow me on Instagram, because you will be able to see all the 6 things that I will be doing, all the productive things I'll be doing from the 2021, and that is there on my Instagram page. You can go ahead and check this. There is a live video, IGTV video as well, where I have described this in details. So I actually went live on the Instagram this Sunday. So this is the thing, it actually gives you the feeling that, okay, I can do this stuff, I can do other stuffs as well. So that actually gives empower you to do more tasks. So I quite like this. So next action is very important, and there is the thing I actually struggle with also. It's not like that I'm kind of like a ninja of doing things, but here's the thing, with next action I actually struggle, because I don't use my mental energy on that asking the specific questions. Okay, what are the things that I need to be doing to get these things done, right? So I just don't ask this question. That actually creates a problem for me. So yeah, with that we have completed chapter 12, and tomorrow is the last day of 60-day reading challenge, and we are going to read this much only, not so much. And I'm so much excited that we have completed like 59 days of reading in this 60-day reading challenge, right? That's amazing, guys. And honestly speaking, it gives me a feeling that, okay, I can do this, I can read for a longer period of time if I want. So I was actually suffering a lot. I was going through this reading slump that readers actually call it, and that was so much bad that I did not used to read, because I used to read a lot for this is the year that I have started reading actually. So yeah, if you really want to see the whole story, I'll be posting each and every day in the Instagram, in Twitter from the next year, so you may able to find some great insights. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, you can go ahead and follow me right now. So yeah, with that we have completed day 59 of 60-day reading challenge, and we are reading this book, Getting Things Done: The Art of Stress-Free Productivity by David Allen. And if you want to purchase this book, the link is on the description of this video. I highly recommend that you purchase if you really want stress-free productivity, because we all have a lot of things to do in our life, and this book will help you to actually figure out things. It will not help you directly, it will not remove all the things that is there on your life, but it will help you to take action. And that's the thing, books actually help you to take action only. It's not going to directly solve any of your problems or anything that you have, right? You will be a better person, you will know a lot of things, you may able to connect dots that you are learning. So I can connect dots on kind of different books like Atomic Habits, start with why, and Getting Things Done. I can connect all of these dots to make some things done, right? So because this book does not talk about purpose and values, but I have learned a lot of from a lot of books. I have learned about like purpose and values and what are the meaning of this, right? So read various kind of books, and if you really want to purchase this book, the link is in the description. So with that, we have completed the 59 day of the reading, and see you tomorrow for the last day of 60-day reading challenge.